Oh, hi there. Welcome to my wrestling palace. Oh, hi there. Please don't leave. I have no friends. Wrestling news now. Go. WWE purchases Evolve Wrestling. Michael Elgin responds to allegations stemming from the Speaking Out movement. And a WWE superstar leaks a huge NXT Great American Bash spoiler. We'll get to that at the very end. So the future of Evolve Wrestling has been hanging in the balance. Last week we talked about how Gabe Sapolsky closed a Facebook group designed to keep people in the loop regarding events and bookings and stuff, saying that there was nothing coming for the future, and closed the Facebook page down. Well, we have an idea of what is next for Evolve Wrestling, as it's been reported by PW Insider that Evolve Wrestling has been purchased by WWE. Now, this doesn't massively come as a great shock to the system, because Evolve Wrestling has been a sort of developmental area for WWE, a sort of NXT for NXT for quite some time though. But it's a shame to see Evolve come to an end on its 10th anniversary. It started back in 2010. I mean, you look at the first Evolve Wrestling show. I made note of some of the people that were featured on that show. Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Ricochet from WWE and NXT, Chuck Taylor and Brody Lee from AEW were on it, headlined by a belter between Davey Richards and Kota Ibushi. That was the first show. That was 2010. 2011, they entered into a deal with Dragon Gate, where 2 Dragon Gate titles were defended regularly on Evolve shows, and they kind of formed a synergy. They merged without merging. It was very peculiar. Evolve crowned A.R. Fox as their first Evolve champion in 2013. He lost it to Chris Hero just under a year later, and from there, only 8 other people held the Evolve Championship, but they're all names. They're guys like Drew McIntyre, Timothy Thatcher, Zack Sabre Jr., Matt Riddle, Shane Strickland, who's the artist now known as Isaiah Swerve Scott, Fabian Eichner of Imperium, Austin Theory in there as well. Of course, Josh Briggs, the current champion of Evolve as well. They're all people who have gone on to do really cool things. It was in 2015 that Evolve entered into a partnership with WWE to work as a developmental system for them. This saw William Regal and Triple H backstage at Evolve events. This saw some qualifying rounds for the Cruiserweight Classic being held at Evolve shows as well. And every so often there would be WWE and NXT talent that would go along to bolster an Evolve event. There's Undisputed Era turned up quite a few times as part of like a special drop-in from WWE. Paul Heyman was there at the anniversary show to do some announcing. Many other names along there like that. The first Evolve Tag Team Champions in 2016. Proper sort of WWE Dream Team mashup of Drew McIntyre and Johnny Gargano will always be the first Evolve Tag Team Champions. Street Profits won their first major tag belts as a duo as part of Evolve as well. The company, as we say, hit its milestone 10th anniversary last year. They had the 10th anniversary show hosted on WWE Network, running up against AEW's Fight for the Fallen, and it all looked like it was going pretty well. And then the WrestleMania event was cancelled, so therefore that was a big hit for Evolve Wrestling. And then the pandemic just continued on. Consequently, Evolve cancelled all its future shows. And then last month we reported how, as we said at the start of this news report, Gabe Sapolsky closed the Facebook group where people were getting bookings and stuff. So it kind of seemed like the writing was on the wall for Evolve Wrestling. Dave Meltzer had even hinted in the Wrestling Observer last month that there was talks of a deal between WWE and Evolve, and it looks as if that is now the case. So the advantage of buying Evolve is because something like 50%, if not more, of the Evolve roster has ended up working for NXT or WWE's top brands. So if you're putting together documentaries on like histories of these wrestlers, you've got a wealth of archive that you can pull from. Plus, some incredible matches happened at Evolve shows. Matt Riddle and Keith Lee happened at an Evolve show. Oh, and so that will all be no doubt available and merged into the WWE network very, very soon. This obviously throws some questions in regarding Evolve and the WWN, the OTT demand service that they are currently on, along with companies like Full Tilt. It looks as if the Evolve shows are going to come off of there and go onto the WWE network, which probably seems like the right way to go. When we know more about this, we'll let you know more. In terms of whether Evolve will continue to run as a company, editorial, hack theory, I don't think it will. But what I think will happen is we will see some of those standouts from Evolve merged into the NXT system. I think that'll be where we go. But that's just a hack theory. When we know more about it, you will know more about it at Cultaholic.com. Now, Michael Elgin has responded to allegations made against him following the Speaking Out movement that has seen brave people coming forward and sharing their stories of abuse and harassment within the wrestling industry. Michael Elgin posted a 10-minute video online where he discussed an allegation made against him from a woman who said Elgin had sex with him in a hotel room. And Elgin responds to this, discussing the incident, saying that he denies the sexual encounter with the person who made the allegation, and also says that there were other people in the room that can confirm that what he says is true. Elgin also discussed an allegation from a woman who said that Elgin sent him a lewd photo back in 2016. Elgin said whatever picture was sent wasn't of him, and he's already apologised for the incident. Elgin concludes the video by saying, "I am many things and I've made many mistakes in my life, but I never would do anything to try and force anybody to do anything because one, it's not good for either of us, and two, there's legal consequences behind that. I don't want to downplay victims or any bad things that happen to people because unfortunately it's out there in the world and it sucks. I hope the people who have done these things have admitted to doing these things, or even the ones that have admitted, I hope they have to pay, and I hope the people they have affected seek justice because that is the right thing to do." Impact Wrestling haven't commented on this, but they have said previously that Michael Elgin is suspended and they have no plans to use him in the future as part of Impact Wrestling. Meanwhile, the WWE lawsuit regarding Saudi Arabia rolls on. This is something that we've dipped into a couple of times over the last month or so. A lawsuit is being put together suggesting that what went on in Saudi Arabia wasn't as WWE said. So WWE say that they were late leaving Saudi Arabia on October 31st after Crown Jewel due to a mechanical fault with the plane. An unnamed, anonymous former WWE employee has said that wasn't the case and suggested that there was something a bit more sinister occurring there. That Vince McMahon had fallen out with the Saudi government, and there was another story that hasn't quite been told properly. Another person that corroborates this account is Hugo Savinovich, who you may remember back in November after the Crown Jewel incident occurred. He was one of the more vocal people. He went online and was one of those saying that it wasn't a mechanical failure and there was a lot of fear and concern that they were being held hostage in Saudi Arabia. He did a whole Facebook video where he talked all about it. He's since spoken again to superluchas.com about the incident. And now WWE's lawyer, Jerry McDevitt, has stepped into this. Jerry McDevitt made a statement about the comments made by Savinovich to superluchas.com. He stated that the comments made by Savinovich were a rant, quote, and referenced the sworn affidavits from people who were there to back up McDevitt's story. He also states that KSA had nothing to do with the delay and refers to Hugo's story as, quote, absurd and, quote, clickbait. McDevitt concludes by reiterating it was indeed a mechanical malfunction that delayed WWE leaving Saudi Arabia, saying, quote, it is important to note that it's not just me saying the sworn affidavit of the director of the commercial charter plane who was on the ground in Saudi Arabia when all this happened also establishes that KSA had nothing to do with the plane issues, that the closest available replacement fuel pump could locate was in Jeddah, and that part had to be secured and shipped on a commercial flight which arrived approximately 18 hours spoilers later. This is still an ongoing story as there's a lawsuit planned over Saudi Arabia towards WWE. And finalement, a WWE star has leaked a major spoiler from night 2 of the Great American Bash. Now, this might not be your bag. You might not want night 2 of the Great American Bash spoiled for you, and I get it. I think if I was on the other end of the camera, I probably wouldn't want it spoiled for me either. So I'm giving you the time now to take your leave and go about whatever you're up to today. And before you do, thank you for continuing to support us here at Cultaholic. Genuinely, we couldn't do what we do without you being there, and thank you so much. Stay safe this weekend, whatever you're doing. Love you, bye. Okay, you're still here. Okay, so you know what's coming. Are we doing this? We're doing this. Okay. We start with EJ Nduka from the WWE Performance Center, who, following Taz's comments on Fyter Fest about how WWE, well, insinuating that WWE runs a sloppy shop. Didn't say that. He didn't say WWE, but we knew what he meant. EJ Nduka tweeted out, "We don't run a sloppy shop. 2 endings, 2 stories. Find out next week." Sticking up for the company you work for. I'm a big fan of it. That tweet is not the spoiler, though. The spoiler comes from Saurav of Indus Sher, the tag team on NXT, part of Malcolm Bivens Enterprises. He tweeted a picture onto his Instagram story that shows the closing moment of night 2 of the Great American Bash, following the main event featuring Adam Cole versus Keith Lee for both the NXT Championship and the NXT North American Championship. Both belts, winner take all. He posted this picture. I see confetti, I see fireworks, I see somebody in the middle of the ring with 2 belts. That doesn't look like Adam Cole, does it? That to me looks a bit like, we did a song about him. We did a song about him, didn't we? We did a song about him. Don't you forget about Keith. Come on, Ross, join in, mate. Don't you forget about Keith. No. Don't you forget about Keith. No, said Keith. Keith Lee, winner of the winner-take-all match from night 2 of the Great American Bash. Keith Lee is your North American and heavyweight champion of NXT. Doesn't matter what happens now, 2020 is a great year. Stay safe, love you, bye.